Today's activity is sponsored by STEMCARE. STEMCARE is a collaboration between Mylan and West Virginia University to develop and implement STEM programming that instills a growth mindset in West Virginia's youth. Growth mindset is the understanding that people can improve their abilities and intelligence through dedication, practice, and hard work. It refers to growth and development, such as learning from mistakes, not just trying harder. Children with a growth mindset understand that changes are opportunities to grow and that making mistakes is an important part of learning. Design-based learning activities like the one we are going to do today are particularly well suited for fostering growth mindset because they allow kids to hone their problem-solving skills in fun and creative ways. Throughout these STEM activities, we will use the engineering design process. The engineering design process is a series of steps that engineers follow to come up with a solution to a problem. The steps include things like imagine, plan, create, improve, and ask. When performing the activities at home with your child, you can promote a growth mindset in several ways. Intelligence is like a muscle. It grows stronger with training. Explain to your child that the brain can get stronger and smarter the more they work it. Celebrate mistakes. Children often get frustrated when they face new challenges. Remind them that we learn because of our mistakes, not in spite of them. Harness the power of the word yet. If your child says, "I can't figure this out," reply with, "You haven't figured it out yet. What could we try next?" Praise the process. When we focus our praise on the learning process, children are empowered to keep trying. Try saying things like, "Great job, you must have worked really hard on that," or "I like the way that you tried different strategies to solve the problem." And finally, model a growth mindset. As adults, it's important that we model a growth mindset in our own learning and abilities. Take a deep breath. You ready? Today's STEMCARE activity is balloon cars. You can find a lesson plan for this activity on our website. The materials we're going to need today are tape, straws, scissors, skewers, some cardboard, balloons, and some material to make wheels. That could be something traced out of cardboard of various sizes, or you can make plastic wheels out of bottle caps, or in this case, we bought a few little wheels that we're going to use. It's always a good idea to have a ruler handy, and a pencil is useful too. All right, are you ready to get started?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing that we want to do for our balloon car, here we can see our prototype, is we need to have a chassis. And the chassis is really important. It's really considered the body of the car. So we're going to use cardstock to make our chassis, and you can see, various sizes will work. This is a bit bigger than an index card. All right. So what else do you notice about this car that's really important?
It has wheels.
It has wheels, right? And it's important that those wheels move.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to make our own axles for the wheels. To do that, we're going to use straws. So let's each grab 2 straws.
What?
Yeah. And we're each going to need some tape too. Okay, so for the axles, we notice that our straws are a little bit longer than the chassis itself. So we're going to cut down those straws so they're just about the same length as the cardboard or a little bit less. Ooh. There you go. Now we test that, you can see that's pretty good. It's about the right length there. So now that I have one cut, I can use it as my example to cut the other size. All right, so what do you think we're gonna need to do next for our car?
Tape the straws.
Tape the straws down, that's a good idea. Now it's important when you're taping it down, make sure the tape kind of snugly fits around the straw so it holds it in place and it doesn't wiggle a lot. Nice job. All right, now are these actually the axles themselves?
No.
No, what are they?
They're just there to make sure that the wheels stay to the chassis, but they don't aren't taped down in one place.
Right, they're just the holder of the axles and they'll allow those axles to spin freely. So we're going to use skewers to make our axles. for our wheels, you could make your wheels out of cardboard if you wanted to. You could trace that with a pencil and cut around those. Or you could also use bottle caps. We're going to be using these little plastic wheels that we bought. So which ones would you like?
I want these two.
You want these two? You want two other?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll use these. All right, so when we're creating our axles, we want to make sure that the hole is in the center of our wheel and that the skewer fits snugly around that. This one's pretty snug. Does yours fit? Mm-hmm. All right, mine does too. And I'm gonna put it down through my axle holder there. And what do you think about where I should cut my skewer? Should I put it really, really close to the edge of my chassis?
No, you should keep just a little bit of room, but not too much room.
Why do you think that is?
So that it doesn't bounce around.
It doesn't bounce around. If it was too big, it could go back and forth.
Or it doesn't make friction.
So if it was too tight, what could happen?
It could create friction.
It could create friction, right? And then it wouldn't spin freely. So we want to have enough room there to give it a little bit of play. So I'm going to cut mine here. And some skewers you can probably cut with scissors. This one is a little thick, so I'm going to use this cutter here. All right, so you have your one wheel on. I have to put my other one. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other axle. Perfect. Now test your wheels to see if they turn smoothly. Good job. All right, so we have the body of our car, but do we have a motor?
No.
No, and what are we going to be using today for the motor of our car?
We're going to be using balloons.
We're going to be using balloons. So you notice the prototype here has the balloon and the straw. So let's get one of our bigger straws. All right. And which color balloon would you like to use?
I think I already got white.
You like white, okay. Now, when we're looking at our balloon, you'll notice it has this larger piece at the end. And we don't want to have that for our balloon car, so we're gonna have to snip that little piece off. There you go. All right, and then you're gonna place your balloon around the straw, placing the straw inside the balloon. And you don't want to do that like too close to the edge of the balloon, kind of, but not too far in either. I would say with your straw about 2 inches or so inside the opening to the balloon. And this part is a little bit tricky. So we're gonna need to tape our balloon around our straw so there's no air openings. So when we blow it up, all the air only comes out the end of the straw. So to do that, it's best to wrap it around like this so it's nice and flat against the straw. Sometimes an extra little bit of tape around the bottom edge is a good idea to ensure you've got a nice tight seal. So when you test your seal there, go ahead and blow it up and then listen and feel for any holes.
Mine has a hole.
Yours has a hole? Okay, and so what are you doing to correct your hole?
I'm gonna put more tape on it.
Gonna put some more tape on it? All right, great.
I don't know where the hole came from.
We could test again.
Looks over here maybe?
Okay. So sometimes if the hole is just too big and you can't find it, it's a better idea just to start over again and retape it. So untape it and retape it. So let's try the fix, and if it doesn't work, we'll try it again. Yeah, so I think for this one, we'll just want to start over again. There you go. Nice tight seal. Okay, so once you've got your seal on your car, we need to attach our motor to the chassis itself. So to do that, we're just going to use tape. And the positioning of the balloon is kind of important. And you can test this out because it's easy to change. But one of the things you need to consider is that we don't want the balloon too far off of the chassis because as it deflates, it'll fall underneath of it. But we also don't want it too far in the center. So let's go ahead and tape our straw down. Now we have our finished balloon car and we can go ahead and test it. Today's activity helps us experimentally prove Newton's first and third laws of motion. Newton's first law of motion says that motion or lack of motion will not change unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. Newton's third law says for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The source of force in our balloon car is the balloon. So when we add air to our balloon, it is an unbalanced force that propels our car forward. For the third law, think about the direction of the air that's coming out at the end of the straw. So when we set our car down this direction and let go, air is blowing in the equal and opposite direction of the car's movement. So by working on your car, you are experimentally proving those laws. One thing you might look at your car and its movement is how you can make improvements. There could be some things that happen when your car is running that make it not as good as you had hoped it to be. So if we look at our car, you want to check out how easily those axles spin. If you notice there's a lot of friction between the edge of the chassis and the wheel itself, you might want to fix this by creating a longer axle or adjusting the wheel slightly so that it doesn't have any rubbing against the chassis here. Some other things you might look for if you notice your car is going really well and then towards the end it starts to slow because the balloon is dragging underneath, you might consider adding some improvements along the front to hold it up better. Other things to watch for are how parallel your axles are. If they are kind of crooked, that can cause the two axles to sort of work against each other, and it might not move as fast as you like it. Look at your design and try to find other ways that you can improve and make your race car faster and better. All right, Ben, so why don't you tell me about some of the improvements you made in your balloon car?
Yeah, so I just added this extra flap to keep the balloon from touching the ground, and then on the back I put like a popsicle stick to keep it like sturdy. And then I also added some fins because they look cool and they also give it some extra speed, baby.
Great. Well, we can always test those innovations and see if they work.
Yep.
Great. So make sure that you look at your design and create some cool innovations of your own. Remember, improving our car helps us learn and also helps us find new solutions to problems we didn't even know we had.